Hello guys, Robot1 here, and welcome to the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! A segment on my channel where we look at decks coming out in the future, cards coming out in the future, and basically just give you my reaction and opinion on the cards. Now, today we have a new archetype called the Draitron coming out in a set in the future. It's coming out in DBGI. I don't know if that's a deck building set. I don't know if that's a core set. I just know this is coming out in the future, and it says here that it is a ritual deck. So I'm hoping that this deck is going to be good, because we have not had a good ritual deck since Necros. Now, you can argue Megalith, but honestly, let's be honest, Megalith, they're not really competitive. They have their own playstyle, sure, but they're a fun deck at best. So, yeah, we're going to be taking a look at the new Drytron theme today. Hopefully it's going to be good. I really want to see what it's capable of, and after this video I might do some testing, because if I haven't looked at any of these cards, I'll hope that they're really good, but hey, I won't know until I look. And also, I am looking off to the side of the screen because I'm trying new camera quality resolution, because for some reason when I've compacted the video, it sort of lags a bit. So I'm trying a different resolution, trying to make sure that everything looks perfect for you in these videos. So, without further ado, let's actually get into this. So, we're starting off with the first card, which is Drytron Ban Alpha. Okay, so they're going to go Alpha, Beta from the looks of it. Interesting. This is... Man said a level 1 monster has 2k attack. Okay, then. Level 1 Light Machine, special... Level 1 Light Machine Special Summon. Okay, that's a new thing to add in there. Effect Monster. 2000 attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summoned as special summoned. Must first be special summoned from the hand... must be special summoned with a Drytron card effect. You can only use this card's effect's name once per turn. Now, if this is a light and dark based archetype, then technically I should be able to search Chaos Gate, use this with Chaos Gate. So, we'll see. Effect is you can tribute one other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand or field, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can add one ritual monster from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn. Sorry, you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except monsters that cannot be normal summoned special summoned. So, wait a second. I can tribute a Drytron monster in my hand, or one ritual monster from my hand or field. So I can literally just be like, oh, I've got a Drytron in my hand, I've got this random ritual that can't do anything in my hand. I tribute them, and I get to special summon this card from my hand or my graveyard in defense position. And then I can add one ritual monster from my deck. And this is any ritual monster I might add. This is generic support. And it also says you cannot special summon monsters that the turn you activate this effect, except monsters that cannot be special summoned. Normal summons special summoned. So this would essentially have utility with decks like any ritual deck for starters. Like send a ritual monster to the graveyard, use this card's effect, summon it, search another ritual, and just have a free monster on board. So if you have that bad ritual in your hand, you can just summon this. But this would also give utility to stuff like Chaos decks, for the pure fact that this is a light monster, and it's searchable through Chaos Gate. Or Chaos Space. Whatever the searchable card is. I think it's Chaos Gate, it might be wrong, it might be Chaos Space. But that's interesting. That is interesting. So, that's the first card. So we've got next Draitron Ras-Beta. Draitron Ras-Beta. And this is another level 1 with 2k attack. Okay, so Konami giving us level 1s with 2k attack. And it's a light monster again, so Chaos Gate, not really good. Or is it Chaos Space? I don't really... I can't remember the name of the card. I'm sorry. It's the one that discards a light and adds a monster that cannot be normal summoned as a special summoned with the opposite attribute. So if it's a light, if you discard light, you add a dark. That can be normal summoned / special summoned. But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing though. So level 1 Light Machine, a special summon effect monster with 2k attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summon special summon as a special summon. Normal summon / specials. Cannot be normal summon / set. Must first be special summoned from your hand. Must be special summoned with a Drytron card effect. I'm stuttering. I'm sorry, but if I don't do this, I'm gonna get annoyed with myself. So I'm sorry. You can only use this card's name's effect once per turn. You can tribute one other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand. Okay, again, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard into defense position. Then you can return one of your banished Drytron monsters to the graveyard. So they're kind of interpreting that you're going to be using Chaos Monster with this deck already, because you're going to be banishing like Drytron monsters, the light one, to like, you're going to be banishing it, and then you're going to be returning it to the graveyard with this. So you have kind of like recurability from the banish zone, which is interesting, unless there is a monster that says you can actually banish this card. Orange juice. Good juice. Good juice. Alright. Interesting. And you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn, except monsters that cannot be normal summons as set. Alright, so, Draitron El Gamma. Okay. Light Machine, special summon effect monster, 2k attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summons as set. Must be special summoned with a Draitron card effect. You can only use this card's name's effect once per turn. You can tribute one other Draitron monster or one ritual monster from your hand or field. Special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can special summon one Draitron monster with 2k attack from your graveyard, except Draitron Gamma. You cannot special summon monsters the rest of this turn. You cannot special summon monsters the rest of this turn after you activate this effect, except monsters that cannot be normal summons as set. So that's good. Because this is kind of like a rank 1 play from what I'm getting at here. Like, extra deck monsters cannot be normal summoned or set onto the board. They can be placed face down, but they can't be set. So this is essentially saying I'm going to be a free rank 1 play. Now, what you're going to be summoning that's a rank 1... I don't know, like you could be summoning like a Princess Sprite to like get one of these in the graveyard, or to get a spell or trap card from your deck to a random spell or trap card from the top of your deck to your hand. You could make a Ghost Trick Dullahan to be able to like decrease opponent's attack points. You could be playing like just making a Link 1 play, so like you could make a Link Karibo and maybe a Thousand Eyes restrict the new relinquished Link 1, and then go into some random Link 2. But this is like, it's a free Link 2 at least, and it's a rank 1 play, which is kind of interesting. It's interesting to see this kind of thing. So we got Draitron Lta-Delta, level 1 light machine, special summon effect monster, 2k attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summons to set, must be special summoned with a Drytron card effect. You can only use this card's name effect once per turn. First effect, you can tribute one other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand or field, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can reveal one ritual monster or one ritual spell from your hand to draw one card. I mean, I get what it's for. Like, you're tributing a ritual monster to special summon this card, and then you just reveal one of your random ritual spells in your hand, and then you get to instantly draw a card, which is kind of nice. It's basically a nice little recursion, so you're getting that replacement for the card that you discarded to be able to go even further, but it's not the best one, I would say. It's not bad, but it's definitely a nice little replacement for the thing you're discarding. Oh, more effect monsters, okay. So Drytron Al-Zeta, so this should be the last one. Level 1 light machine, special summon effect, 2k attack, 0 defense. They pretty much all have 2k attack, 0 defense. Cannot be normal summons as set, must be special summoned with a Drytron effect. You can only use cards with the name once per turn. You can tribute one other Drytron monster or ritual monster from your hand or field, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position. Then you can add one ritual spell from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this is the one that will let you add ritual spells. Like, I was wondering, seeing as we had up here Alpha that adds ritual monsters, I was wondering when we were going to get to the one that would add ritual spells. So it's good that they have one that can add ritual spells, because that means you can have both add a ritual spell from your deck and a ritual monster from your deck with multiple different effects. And something I've also just noticed with this, you could, no, you can't 1-for-1 with these, because they must be summoned with a Drytron effect. My mistake. My brain was going with 1-for-1 for a minute, but it's like, nah, you can't do that. Interesting though. Okay, so now we get onto the ritual monster, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 level 1s and they expect you to make a level 12. Okay, so this is obviously to be mixed with other decks. Okay. So Drytron Meteorize DRA. Dra. I'm assuming that's meant to be a dragon. And the artwork is actually insane. I love the artwork here. Level 12, Light Machine, Ritual Effect Monster. 4k attack, 4k defense. This card can be ritual summoned with Meteorize Draitron. You can only use the third effect of this card once per turn. First effect, your opponent can target this card with monster effects. You see, first problem with this card, monster effects. You could have made it so it couldn't be targeted by any effects, but you chose monster effects. Don't know. You could have just made it so it can't be targeted by anything in general. This is definitely the boss monster. Plus, it's a level 12. Like, come on. Like, you could have just made it untargetable by everything. Like, there's so many monsters. God knows there's so many monsters in the game that already do that. Second effect, if this card was ritual summoned using monsters whose total level equals 2 or less. Excuse me? If this card was ritual summoned using monsters whose total levels equal 2 or less. Oh, okay. Wait, no. Wait, what? Am I just dumb, or am I reading this as is, if this card is ritual summoned using monsters whose total levels equal 2 or less. For some reason, I'm thinking this can be summoned with 2 level 1 monsters. Because it's total levels, so this would inquire to all monsters, correct? So it means if I somehow ritual summon a level 12 with 2 level 1s, it can attack all monsters, all opponents special summon monsters once each. You know what? If there's a ritual spell that just says you can summon this with 2 level 1s, I'm not gonna have an issue here because the whole deck is a level 1 archetype, so yeah, I guess. I'm just really confused, to be honest with you. I'm pretty sure this is saying if all the monsters you used total level equals 2, not if all of them are 2 or less. So, yeah. Weird. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish any number of monsters from your graveyard whose total attack equal 2k or 4k, then target one face-up card your opponent controls. For every 2k attack monster, send it to the graveyard. Wait, what? Then target one face-up card your opponent controls. For every 2k... Oh, then target one face-up card your opponent controls. For every 2,000 attack point monster, sent to the graveyard. So... send it to the graveyard. So what this card is basically saying is, you can send 2 monsters to the graveyard, or actually no, you can banish any number of monsters whose total attack equal. Oh no, so this is a max of 2. So you got to send up to 2 total attack equals to 2,000 or 4,000. So you're basically going to be banishing 2 of these to equal 4k attack, and you can target that many face-up cards your opponent controls. So if you send 2k, you would target 1. If you send 4k, you'd target 2, and then you send those cards to the graveyard. Now this is a targeting effect, of course, so if you can't target something, you can't target something. But yeah, now for a boss monster, I'm looking at this card and I'm thinking. It's confusing. The wording on it is very strange. Like, honestly, I wouldn't think you'd be able to ritual summon a monster with 2 level 1s, for starters. If you can do it, if there's a card that lets you do it, fair enough. But I feel like the first effect shouldn't have had the monsters in it. It shouldn't have been be able to be targeted by anything. It's full stop. And during your opponent's turn as well, like, I don't like cards that say during the opponent's turn if it doesn't really do a lot. Like, for this specifically, it has a lot of requirements for starters. Like, it's a good effect, don't get me wrong. Like, being able to banish 2 of your level 1s in the graveyard, and it kind of synergizes with the other one that says you can return a banish to the graveyard. To be able to recycle your monsters and stuff like that. But I don't like how it's only during your opponent's turn. If it was during both players' turn, I'd think that's really good. I'd think that's perfect. But this has it only being able to be targeted by monster effects. It shouldn't have been able to be targeted by anything. If it did have, and if it is just by monster effects, then it should be able to during your opponent's turn. It should be during either player's turn, I think, or just literally a solid normal effect. But hey, this is just my thoughts and opinions. It's one ritual monster. The deck might get more in the future, but it's just my thoughts. So let's go into the spell and trap cards. So Draitron Fafnir. Field spell, you can only activate once per turn. When this card resolves, you can add one Drytron, a spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except Draitron Fafnir. The effects of ritual spells and their activation cannot be negated. Oh, so it's Magical Meltdown, essentially. Just slightly different because you can only add one Drytron spell or trap. And once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned, face up while you control a Drytron monster, you can decrease the levels of those face up monsters by 1 for every 1000 attack they have. They have minimum 1 for the rest of this turn. Okay. So this is essentially a type of Stygian Dirge. Interesting? It does kill rank 4 decks and synchro decks to an extent. But just like... I don't... What else they got? Like, this is a good card, don't get me wrong. They can't be negated. You can add a Drytron spell trap, so that's nice. But this effect, this deck just has a lot of confusing effects, to be honest. Why is it here? But yeah. So Meteorize Drytron. So this is the ritual spell. This is the one that I'm assuming you can use 2 level 1s for. This card can be used to ritual summon any one ritual monster. You literally can summon any ritual monster? Okay. You can only use the second effect once per turn. Tribute machine monsters from your hand or field whose total attack! Okay! That's why! Okay, tribute machine monsters from your hand or field whose total attack equal or exceed the attack of the monster you ritual summon. And if you do, ritual summon that ritual monster from your hand or grave. Okay! Okay, boys! This is interesting. This is actually good. Pretty much, this is saying, this is why this card specifically has the effect. If it was ritual summoned with monsters whose total level equal or less to level 2. That makes sense now. Like, I was really confused about that, and now it's just like, okay, so it was my first understanding. You have to use 2 level 1s to actually gain that effect. Alright, okay, cool. I'm happy about that. And second effect is, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Drytron monster you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack until the end of this turn, until the end of your opponent's turn. And if it does, add this card to your hand. You know, I get why this is here, because literally you don't want to be able to give someone just free ritual spells, and in a deck like this that has all of its monsters as 2-key attack, and you're constantly having other things that go along with it, it makes sense for this to have this effect. It makes it harder for you, for starters, to be able to make your Drytron ritual monster if your ritual monster does somehow die, and it just makes things in general a little difficult. So, nice. I like this. I like this card. This is a ritual card that recycles itself, and it's also a attack. It can summon any machine ritual monster for starters. It can summon any ritual monster for start. It says, but it really only summons. Well, no, actually, no. It can summon any ritual monster because it just says tribute machine monsters, and that's why all of these are machines. Okay. I'm going to test this after this video. I really am, because I'm liking what I'm seeing. Okay, so next spell. Drytron Nova, normal spell card. You can only activate one card of this card's name per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this effect, except monsters that cannot be normal summons as set. Special summon one Drytron monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. Okay. Understandable. Understandable. It's a free summon. That's pretty much it. It's not a quick launch, so you can't just... Sorry, it's not a, quick launch or whatever it is. Quick draw. So it's not a free summon. But nice. Okay. What's this? Drytron Eclipse. Normal spell card. You target one Drytron monster in your graveyard, add to your hand. Nice, free recovery. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Draitron monster you control. It gains 2k attack until the end of the turn. I like this kind of card. This card is fun. You know why it's fun? Because you can literally make one level 1 into a 4k, use the ritual spell, and then go into this with a 4k monster. I like a lot. Okay. Draitron Asterism. During the main phase, target one Draitron monster or one ritual monster you control, and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Okay, so one Draitron monster, one ritual monster, or one ritual monster, and one face-up monster your opponent controls. The target you control loses 1,000 attack until the end of this turn, until the end of your opponent's turn, and if it does, destroy that opponent's monster. You see. Now I'm seeing why this cannot be targeted by monster effects, because it's basically saying you need to be able to target it with the spell effects, so the spell effects can essentially get that requirement. But in all honesty, I really don't think this is a good card. It's a quick play spell, which is nice, and you can decrease, but it only targets face-up monsters. It only targeted face-up monsters. If it targeted anything else but face-up monsters, like a spell and trap card, any monster, anything along those lines, it would have been a lot better, because like you decrease your 4k to 3k, you don't care about that, and then you just destroy any card on the board. I feel like that would have been a lot better, but obviously they have to put some sort of restrictions on this, so I guess it makes sense. Alright, and they have a counter trap. Okay, so Draitron Meteor Shower counter trap. When your opponent would normal or special summon a monster while you control a ritual monster. So this is just generic ritual counter trap. This is Solemn Judgment for a counter trap, or Solemn Warning, sorry. Negate the summon, and if you do, shuffle that monster into the deck. Okay, generic ritual counter trap. Nice. And what's this? So we got, and it's just saying you can use Cyber Emergency to search it. So, looking at this ritual archetype, looking at this archetype as a whole, I do have my issues with it. I'm not gonna lie. It's got some confusing effects in it, like the field spell here. I get why this exists, like, to an extent, because it's like a Stygian Dirge sort of thing, where you can decrease levels and then stop your opponent from being able to get whatever they want. So it's kind of like a floodgate-esque effect, where you can just like stop your opponent from doing specific things, which I think is kind of interesting. It's very different from what you would normally see from a lot of these kind of cards, but I feel like that is really nice and is really interesting. And I'm going to be honest, all the monsters in this deck have a purpose. Like this one searches the ritual spell. This one just gives you an extra draw. This one summons more cards so you can get to your ritual easier. This one literally just returns one of your banished from the graveyard. This one searches any ritual. It has a lot of different type of cards that I think are really cool. And the ritual monster itself, it's interesting. I get why they've done it, but there's some things on here that I don't really agree with and I don't really like. So I do have my issues with that there. But honestly, looking at this deck and looking at the different cards this is in, I can't really say this is a ritual deck. When I look at a ritual deck, I look at a deck that has like tons of ritual monsters, fully decked out with rituals, fully focused on rituals in general. But looking at this, yes, it's a ritual deck. It has one ritual monster, which I think is why I'm saying it's not a ritual deck. But I feel like this is a deck you would mix with other ritual decks, just so you can make those ritual decks a little more better and a little stronger in the long run. So like that's kind of like my thought process behind this. But overall, I feel like this is literally a really cool deck. It has a lot of stuff in it that makes it really interesting. Like the field spell's insane. The ritual monster, it could have been better. I'm gonna be honest, it could have been better, but it's still really interesting and cool. All the little monsters all place their own effects and all have their own goals for specific specific reasons. Like you've got like even the ritual spells really cool. You've got like free summons from the deck, which is also really nice, which gives you more reason to play the little monsters. Like you've got a lot of stuff, and you even got a really cool counter trap. Like just it's solemn judgment for solemn warning for literally any deck, any ritual based deck. So it's like this deck is really interesting. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. I would probably tech in some like I'd probably tech in like some dark cards as well, some dark monsters to like go with this as well, so I can play like Chaos Space or Chaos Gate, whatever the hell it's called, I can't remember, in it to make it a little more better. But yeah, like just looking at it in general, I feel like this is a really cool archetype. It's definitely got its perks, it's definitely got its own way in playstyle that I'm gonna probably be testing quite a bit and probably have a duels and deck profiles out for you guys at some point. But yeah, just looking at it, I feel like it's a really cool deck, has really interesting cards in it, and definitely just generic ritual support all around for this deck is really, really nice. So guys, why don't you tell me what your thoughts are on this deck in the comment section below. Do you think this deck is really good? Do you think this deck is really bad? Do you think this deck has its own unique touch to it? Personally, I feel like it's just like the best cards in the deck are going to be good ritual support for other ritual decks like Necros and maybe even Megalith, because like I know that Megalith really do rely on all their ritual monsters, and these are just like stuff that could boost that deck slightly more. But yeah, so guys, that's the video. Don't tell me what your thoughts of this card deck are in the comment section below. Did you like it? Do you think it's great? Do you think it's bad? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Yugioh content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Big Machine Dragon deck, go Burr, I guess. Like, it's a really cool deck. I'll see you guys later. Robot1 signing out. Later all.